I just want to have a genuine conversation about why 7.community exists, what it means to me, what it can mean to you and everyone else. And it's gonna be a long haul. It's gonna be a journey. I'm here for the long haul, but I think we need to at least let people into the thinking. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So here's the backdrop. Backdrop.
Yeah.
You go back. This podcast. We have a podcast. You and I have a podcast together called The Black Futurist. Right. This is my fourth podcast. It's apropos that it's called The Black Futurist because I have a pattern of seeing some version of the future that I can see clearly, and that I don't have a gauge for how far that is. I don't know if that's 10 years. I don't know if that's next week, but I know I can see the wave coming, and I'm trying to position my board so I can catch that wave and be in the right spot. As I see it, it's often the right thing to do. It's like, what does the universe need? What is supposed to happen now? And how can I serve that? If you look back at every business I've ever had, if you say it in like a vacuum, oh, B, you invested in real estate, you flipped houses, and I see every one of those businesses as the same exact thing. It is, how can I provide for my family and without having to sell my time? I gave up selling my time when my firstborn son was born. I was an engineer, a well-paid engineer in New York, and I left because 9/11 happened. Newborn was at the house, and I go on 16-hour days at ground zero. When I go ask intelligent science questions like, don't I need a mask or something because asbestos? Nah. These motherfuckers don't care about me. That was the end, bro. That was the end. I was done. I was like, you know what? I got a new guy at home, and I need to find a way to do this where I can be here, where he is, where I can watch and oversee. So I need to create opportunities to profit while I'm home and with selling my expertise, not my time. So every one of those businesses is the same. And in order to get to that position, a lot of thought and a lot of reading goes into like, okay, what is the landscape? What is the terrain? What are the forces at play bigger than me that are going to move my experience and the human experience in the United States? And we find ourselves at another one. So a decade ago, 12 years ago, I remember not knowing where my college roommates were. I remember when I was in college, I had a Franklin planner. And every year I would write down, give me your phone number, because guys had pagers. Give me your mom's phone number for the house, and give me your address, your mailing address.
I remember that.
I had the book. Every year I get the new inserts. I had the book. I had a really comprehensive book. I could call guys, but you know how it works. You call guys and the numbers changed. Or they moved, or they're no longer there, or whatever. Oh, Maurice, no, he doesn't live here anymore. He moved to Arizona. It's very hard to track everybody. Technology allowed us at that time to create websites like, .blogspot.com and all that stuff. But if you did the reading, you could figure out how can I have my own URL, right? Blow that up and fast forward this story. We created Alumni Roundup, which was 22 individual websites, standalone social media networks that were for 22 different universities and brought people back into contact. It was incredible. And that business ran its course. We've gone on as a team to do other incredible things. The team is still the team. It's still the same people on the calls on Saturdays, the same exact faces, because that's that business, and every business that we get involved to is really a team effort. Every single business that we do.
Yep.
So here we are in 2020, and I'm minding my own business, working on my other stuff, and I'm tagged in like 100 posts. 100 posts on social media. It's like, dude.
Just how was the cheese tasting when they hit you up?
I was minding my business in a bar somewhere, and it was cheese with toothpicks in it, and somebody said, I wonder what B-Mo's doing right now. That's some good-ass cheese. I was chewing cheese. Right. Me and Arsenio. No less than 100 posts across social media. Like, we need alumni roundup back. And
Right.
you know what's funny to me is that what the thing that really swayed me, the only thing I really listened to was there were some people who actually apologized in writing.
They apologize.
Yeah, apologize in writing. Because, dude, by the time we were done with Alumni Roundup ended with becoming an on-ramp to Facebook.
Yep.
Because people were like, I love this. I love being around. It's homecoming 24/7. But I can't talk to my homegirl from kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to talk to my homegirl from kindergarten. And somebody else from to the other school, da-da-da-da. And you have to understand that when we created those networks, Alumni Roundup, Bison Roundup, Rattler Roundup, all that stuff, for many black people in America, it was their first time feeling comfortable and safe enough to go online and participate in social media.
Yeah.
It was their on-ramp. And
Yeah.
then eventually after Rand's course, it was their off-ramp onto Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gone on for a long time. Now, the issue is, I knew it was the right thing to do. I knew it was right to create this experience for folks because we could build together. We could conspire. We could coordinate. We could have our conversations. And it hit its limit, you know, and I became really hurt and, you know, whatever negative word I can throw in here about, I felt in a negative way about, you know, the ending of that business. It bothered me. I went on to other things and that's fine.
Yeah.
So when I started getting tagged in these posts saying, hey, look, man, we realize now that we abandoned it and, you know, Facebook really has no love for us. They're letting, you know, our commander-in-chief advocate violence against our communities. They're not being censored. They're, you know, anybody can buy our attention. We need our own space again.
Yeah.
And I got tagged. Let's say the first 50 posts, I just sat there and read them and saw them. Like, okay, I see you. I mean, I'm already doing other stuff. I do know very well how to do this. But then the apologies, a couple apologies hit, and they really hit. And I didn't realize that, you know, at the time we're still dealing with this George Floyd stuff and all this stuff. I said I'm emotionally impacted and stuff, and I was receptive to those apologies, man. Like, it really was like, you know, more independent people who don't even know each other wrote that down, and people co-signed it. And I was like, okay, maybe I can serve.
Yeah.
And really, that's what it turned into. It turned into, as we're watching our friends and strangers protest and demonstrate in cities all around the world, I know that I could go out there and be a body on the street, right? Even though I'm deathly afraid of COVID-19, right? I could be a body on the street, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be an activist no matter where. And as I just knew I had to play it at my level. What is my role? You know, if we all have roles and levels, where does my activism lie? Mm-hmm. And that made sense to me. All those things came together. It was like, your activism, this is how you can serve. You can create a space that doesn't disrespect your people, a space where we can have real conversations in the language we want to have conversations. Because the other thing that's happening is people are incensed and they're writing their real feelings, and the algorithm or the bots read it. And that guy who's pissed off because he's got black kids and all this crap is going on in America, he gets banned from Facebook for 3 days or 30 days. And this is an attorney or a dental surgeon or an architect. These are educated people who are pissed off. And this is the medium that they adopted to communicate and coordinate. And that ground that you're standing on, that digital ground you're standing on, doesn't stand with you.
So you've been able to stay ahead, right? So people were using ARU as a method of connecting to each other without going to Facebook, and it felt great. It felt familial. It was a black and blackened space, and it was dope in terms of connecting. It was a bunch of fun. There was some politics to it. There were things that people were saying. And then people moved to Facebook because it's better suited for sharing pictures and funded, enjoying each other's.
Suited. Right. Serves a wider audience. Right. Yeah.
But to your point, Facebook is not equipped to have the types of discussions that black folks in our circle want to have. And that's a huge circle. It's an influential circle, something that I'm preaching to the choir, just reiterating stuff that you know. And so you now staying ahead of the curve have started now this 7 community.
Yeah.
Because it's addressing specifically the way that we want to converse with each other. First, we wanted the fellowship. Now we want to converse with each other in a certain way, in certain progressive political ways, in certain radical ways that Facebook algorithms to give them, because I don't think Facebook, I don't see Mark Zuckerberg as some Confederate flag waving racist, but Mark Zuckerberg probably voted Democratic in every election, right? I don't know where Facebook stands as an organization. It doesn't matter. The platform doesn't do what 7 does. What's the next iteration? And I know it just started, where does 7 go next? You say so you have this ability, you
right.
Look, and you have a vision for the future. Where does 7 go?
We're 4 days old. Let's start with that. In order
exactly.
to get to 4 days old, in the speed at which we did, we had to look at what existed already, like any engineer does. What is the state of the science that I can now co-opt and bend to my cause? Every engineer does it. And that's what we've done. So we've built on someone else's technology, but in a space that we can own, that's private, that no one will be on but us. There's no higher person than the admin and the moderator. And there's some really cool stuff about it, because in that building, we've created safe spaces and privacy for the user, which says, you won't be Googled, your name be Googled, and what you said came up that was in here. No, it won't happen. And if you have things that you want to talk about that you don't want anybody else to see, or your people to see, that are outside of the people that you handpicked, those spaces exist inside 7. So it's built for you to have those conversations in private the way that you want to have them, so that you can say what you want to say. And my wife is so tickled because she's an introvert. And she doesn't go on social media a lot to produce anything, but she's here. She's very involved here as it's small. We're on day 4. And one of the things that tickled her so much was someone in the media who revealed themselves as a racist said something, ended up getting fired. And Ted, one of our buddies who's on the site, wrote a comment, and he said, such and such got fired. Oh, he hurt. She loved the fact that he wrote, and she read it in a voice that made sense. Oh, he hurt. Like, right. He feels so comfortable here that he's writing how we talk. Anybody who reads that will be like, I'm at home with my friends here.
Right.
That's awesome. What's next?
Oh, he hurt.
He hurt. Right.
You didn't read it like, oh, he hurt. Is that a typo?
Right. We've got to get to the point, number one, where we create some awareness. It doesn't have to be 200,000 people. It could be a solid 1,000 people who come in, and we get active. We engage in some causes. We utilize the machine, what we've built. And what will be next is development of our own platform, our own technology. So we're really off on our own. But for now, the most important thing, as they say, in marketing, it's not the steak, it's the sizzle. It's really about how are we using this thing? How are we using this privacy? What can it be more than just another repository for articles from all over the place, some aggregation of articles? And there's nothing wrong with that. But what's the next evolution of that behavior of just like, I saw an article and I reposted it here? The next evolution of that is being comfortable enough to talk about your own life, comfortable enough to ask for help, and getting some qualified insight from other people that are in a trusted space. And that's really where this needs to go. It's not something that I can make people do. It's a behavior that I'm modeling, and it's not easy, but it's the right thing to do. It's what our people need. We need those spaces where we can really discuss without the troll factor, or the hate just because you're different and black. We really want to take that feeling of how you felt in your junior year at Howard and apply that across all black people. Let you experience how that feels. A quick story about that. I remember clearly my freshman year. having gone to a private white Christian school in high school in New Jersey, and being the black friend, right? And the athlete and all that stuff. I remember going to Howard, and in my freshman year, I was standing in front of the gym, and there was a dude with dreads, a girl who with like a head wrap on, and this other cute girl sitting on the steps in front of her. And I looked at them, and I was like, they practice so differently than I practice culture. They practice that way because she's from Houston, she's from Baltimore, and he's from DC. Like, they might be artsy, you know what I'm saying? They probably artsy, but there's differences, and it's not about us being black. It's about us being different.
Yeah.
So I want to create a space where that filter's gone again, where we can really just address each other based on who we are, what we believe in, and the differences. We can have discourse about that stuff, and we can conspire, right?
Yep.
We can see this is a problem. It needs addressing. We have enough mental firepower in the room between the attorneys we got here, the architects, the engineers, the educators, the physicians, the mental health people. We have them all here. Let's talk. I'm having trouble deciding how do I handle, my kid who just graduated high school. How many other black dads are in here that aren't addressing me because they're black, but because they're also dads who are dealing with the same challenges that I'm dealing with? That's what I want, and it's hard to do in a public space, and that's not even the financial part.
Right. Right.
I have no problem giving money to anybody or attention to anybody who implicitly hates me or works against me, works against my people, and I know that's what we're doing when we're on these other platforms.
Yeah. To create a public forum where you can live openly and unapologetically black, but to take away the dangers of living unapologetically black and posting on public forums these types of revolutionary ideas, but still having a nexus a place where you can go to share these ideas, because these are the people who need to be sharing them, right? And so there's a danger in that. That's a positive risk. That's a positive risk to take, and it's one that requires curation. One of the things I think is a strength, and I would love to see going forward, is this decentralized model of leadership. The idea that you created it, there's a team, we work, behind the scenes, blah-blah-blah, but in terms of like the content and how it works, anybody can come on there right now, somebody that neither one of us knows from Adam, and could come on and be the most important content creator, discussion leader for a few months, and then it becomes someone else. Right. Or then it becomes 10 other people, or they continue, and now it's just there are 50 dope discussions going on. And so part of what is important within that vein is to make sure that people come to Seven and use the space and utilize the space in ways that purposefully distance it from how we use Facebook, so that it's less about coalition building to say, I'm going to post this dope piece of information, or this piece of information that I like, and I'm going to post it because I want folks to like it. And I want folks to like it because I'm building this informal coalition of people. And now this informal coalition becomes my whole algorithm. It becomes the bubble in which I live. And we're so used to that because we went from ARU to Facebook. We're so used to communicating within that paradigm. It's a stunted paradigm. It's a bad one. It's one that is just, it's uncritical. It hinders communication. It hinders progress. And so this place, and we have to continue to push and make sure that folks don't just immediately, turn this into Facebook. Hey, check out this dope thing. You should like this. Oh, you don't? Here's why you're whack for not liking it. Right? Or, oh, you like this? Here's why you're dope for liking it. That's dope. Right. And instead, it's to say, okay, here's this piece of information. Here's what I think. How can we incorporate this? Yeah. Right? Or how do we augment this? Some stuff needs to be dismantled. How do we dismantle this, but then put it back in a form that's useful to us? Yeah. So to get to that next step, Because Facebook right now is great with expressing displeasure. But in terms of engendering a discussion, totally different.
I want to Fisher Price what you said because I want to make sure it's like understood. When these platforms first started, there were no ads. And what that meant was everything that you said, everything that your friends said, you could see. And if you missed it, you come in later and you scroll until you find it where you left off, and then you continue reading down, and then you decide what you want to comment on, what you want to take in, what is irrelevant, and you just keep going. Once the ads were brought on there, what happened was this algorithm came into place that said, Mo, you can no longer see what your 10 best friends have said. We're going to give you about 12% of what they said. We're going to give you about 12% of that, and based on what you click on or like, I'm going to show you some more of that. Now, if one of your 10 best friends want to pay me to make sure you see it, I'll take their money and I'll make sure you see it. And that's how we are. And so that happens. And then the worst happens. What also comes with that is, and anybody else who wants to pay to make sure you see something, we'll do that too. We'll let them get your attention. So you can see the Russian, election story that was made up, but you won't necessarily see what I wrote because I didn't pay for it. And, maybe you saw, I put up 10 things, maybe you saw 2 of them or 1.5 of them instead of seeing everything that I intended, that you might see. And that's a problem. So that doesn't exist here. And that brings us to another point. People are going to ask 2 questions. And I haven't had great answers for the second one. I have feelings for the second, but the first one I have a very clear answer. The first question people are going to answer, and we've got to overcome is, you're asking for people to pay to be on this thing, and I'm used to being in free social media space. True indeed. That's true. I've been on YouTube for since the beginning. And one thing I know about YouTube is it takes a lot of work to put a video together. It's revealing. You're tearing off a layer of yourself and exposing yourself in most cases, and then you're coming back and editing that, and you're sharing it. And, you go to any one of my channels, I've got 50 videos that I've put work into, and then you'll see there's comments under the videos. It's as easy as coming in and putting a thumbs down. You can do that anonymously, but you can also open another account somewhere. Some clown can open an account, have no videos, and all they do with that account is come in to talk crap about what you didn't do, what you did or you didn't do, and tear you down. And quite honestly, though you don't want to say it online, you don't want to share it, it hurts. Like that shit hurts. Trolling, sometimes it's funny, but most times, especially on social media, it's not funny. If it's done by someone anonymously, it just hurts. It's deleterious. It takes away from the experience. Yeah, I'm placing a bet. I'm wagering that trolls will not pay, or are much less likely to pay, to come and troll inside 7.
Yep.
Right. I think
and it should push people to go beyond simply being your cosigner. I think he's an idiot, but Neil Bortz, conservative talks, he was like, if the 2 of us agree on everything, one of us is useless. right. So the automatic retweet, B said, that's uncritical too. You would hope that if someone cosigns, they would tell why, or put your shit that they think is dope in conversation with other shit that they think is dope. So here's what B said. I'm gonna forward that. But also, here's this thing that Jamie said.
Right.
Check this out. We're gonna put these 2 things together. Let's talk about that. So that we're challenging the users. And to your point, monetizing it is a way to do that for sure. You're gonna make another point. I hope you forget your train of thought there.
It's all the same. The other visual that I use, like, what is it? Why am I paying this $50 a year? This, to be in your thing. Aside from the intrinsic value that I know we create, picture you having a young 4-year-old who's learning how to ride her bike. She's got on training wheels, and you live on a block. She's going to ride in the street, right?
Yeah.
Would you pay for speed bumps to be put on either side of the block? Like, what's the value of a speed bump on either side of the block? It doesn't mean that she's not going to get hit by a car. It means she's way less likely to get hit by a car. That speed bump helps you out when you look away or you're looking at your phone or something. Like, cars have to slow down. it doesn't prohibit it, but it really lessens the opportunity for her to get hurt. That's the same thing. A small gate, like $5 a month, is a speed bump that should be really effective against others who would come in and do us and break us down when we're at a time when we really need to be building together.
Right. And that's a dope way to say it. You're paying for safety. And we can see there's some look, if you want to get literal, George Floyd couldn't afford safety, right? His blackness made safety too expensive. So in the literal and the figurative sense, we need safety, the whole safe spaces and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you need safe fucking spaces.
Right.
You call people soft and snowflake all you want to. Yeah, like you said, man, that trolling and this, because there's a paradigm set for dismantling well thought, well argued, well presented, cogent data and ideas. There is a paradigm set for dismantling all of that shit by posting an animated picture.
Right.
That has a little white dude blinking his eyes while smirking on it. And now the whole discussion turns on this stupid picture you done put up when somebody has crafted this phenomenal argument. And it don't have to be long-winded. It might have been 2 sentences.
Right.
It might have said some dope, poignant shit, and now you click, and you put your stupid-ass picture up, and now the discourse is fucked. And there's nothing you can do about it. Right? Because now motherfuckers is sharing pictures back. Because, you posted that? Well, I'm posting the joint
now where it becomes...
Right. Now I'm posting the one with Janet eating chips. It's true, though.
And I love doing that when it's funny stuff. On funny stuff.
Right.
So
sometimes it ain't time for that.
You don't have to leave other social media.
Exactly.
But you have to participate here. Like, you really should. This is the place where we can build. Yep. The other part is, why did you name it 7? I already saw the question. Why 7? Why isn't it Bison Roundup again? Because it's not Bison Roundup. Yeah. It's not about getting Howard folks together in a place where Howard folks could be. I love Howard folks. I also love FAMU folks. I also love Spelman folks and A&T folks. Right. Mm-hmm. I also love people who went to Princeton.
Even folks who didn't go to college, who went to like Hampton and stuff. We down with them too.
Right. Shout out to Tito. Yeah, man. To start out, 7 is like a number of creation, man. It's a number of 7 days of creation, man. 7 seas, 7 continents, man. It's the God number. To me,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It's prime number. It's like. It says that number. It says exactly how I feel about my community.
It's indivisible,
bruh. Can we come here and do something intrinsically good together? I can't. There's other words, but that one just it has it all. It has it all. And so I've been posting these pictures. I've been posting these pictures that feel that way to me. Mm-hmm. And you've seen them, and I'll post them in, wherever we post this conversation, I'll post those pictures just to say, like, man, there's this picture of like Nina Simone buddied up to James Baldwin, and that picture, the way the expression on their face, it looks like how an auntie and uncle would look into the crib of their nephew or niece, and like they're so proud of that, they just and Baldwin has on a pin, and I just put a little 7 on that pin, like it's always been here. I love that moment. It felt so good. So I have these series of pictures that really just communicate how I feel until I can better articulate, in a coinable way, why it's called 7. Mm-hmm. But in the meanwhile, people have been asking how they can help. Here's how you can help. You can join. When you join for free for the first 2 weeks, I want you to come in and I want you to look around, and then I want you to say something. Just say anything.
Yeah.
That's it. Drop, say hello. Drop an article, or answer somebody's question. There's tons of questions on there. People are posing questions. And then if you like it, tell somebody else about it. Let them come on for free and see if they like it. I think that what we're doing is intrinsically good and helpful. And there's one more piece. I don't know. I got one last piece unless you want to say something. Over the years, man, one of the projects we did was we created a Black business directory, right?
Yep.
We created this directory and we really featured some really cool businesses, and there are 1,000 Black business directories. I'm not concerned so much with a Black business directory anymore.
Yep.
I am inherently concerned with doing business with people who welcome Black people and Blackness. Right? That's my concern. I do care who owns it, but I will not spend with the company if they're showing all the signs they've got in their leadership. They've got some black people on the board or on the executive level. They're involved in the right side of causes and things like that.
Yeah.
So that all being said, one of the key features that we worked on was what's called affiliations. And that is because it's not just for one particular school or one type of person, there's going to be people coming from all different walks of life. I identify myself by many different ways. I am an engineer. I am an entrepreneur. I am a nutritionist. I am a trainer. I am a father. I am a husband, right? I'm a son. I'm a sibling. And I can keep going on.
Yep.
And so one of the things that you can do when you come in and choose an affiliation, you can say, hey, I'm an architect, right? Now when I'm in there and I need an architect in this very cool environment, I can just click on the affiliations tab, click on architect, and see everybody who either used the word architect in their introduction or who identified as an architect. Who should I be interviewing to compete for my business?
Yep.
People in my community. This isn't brand new stuff. It's just we need better ways to practice it, and we need models. We need to see it happen. We need people to model the behavior so that we can give ourselves permission to do the same. So there's a lot going on. It's still early. Yeah. We are on day 4.
Yeah.
But I needed to talk it out, and either between you and Ali and Russ and Tito and Dwayne and Lavelle, Jamie.
We gotta let. Nah, this is perfect, man. Because we got you got to let folks know as you shepherd them through this transition. They got to know here's the intent. Here's the intent. That's something that's vital to black business.
Right.
We are huge on intent, as well as impact in general when it comes to black businesses and how we look at black businesses and how we hold them accountable. And so, you've made that clear. And the other piece about, why does it cost money? Yeah. All of these things, man, I don't think we can do enough of this. I don't think we can do enough of this. And the other part of it is to be willing to turn over. I keep going back to that. I really like flat leadership models. And so in this case, that content creators and leaders within the community just happens organically, and leader's nothing permanent. You might be leading right now on this discussion today and then fade into Bolivian with Mike, or you become one of the main content creators. Who cares? It doesn't matter. You might be dope for a couple of days and lurk for the rest of the time. Who knows? But the leadership is there. And the leadership provides the content provides the discussion. The content can drive the discussion, or the discussion can drive the content, either way.
Right.
And to shepherd people into that, to get them to double down on what they said in your survey about the reasons why they wanted to leave Facebook. All those people who hit you up while you were just having cheese at the bar. Now it's like, okay, well, here's what we're doing. Here's how we're addressing it. Here's how you should govern yourselves accordingly.
Right. And it's the right move.
Yep.